So
I didn't have Skype downloaded, so I thought, oh, just go and do it. That'll be a fairly straightforward thing. No.
it's such an old thing that people use. That a lot of people have forgotten about it. Now it's back, baby. You
It
know,
is. It is back.
there's all these jokes at the moment that the world's being run by things like Skype and Zoom, and
Yeah.
it's not wrong. Not wrong. People are, making use of these virtual ways of communicating with each other. It's great, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think it is. I think that's what we've embraced at this point. Yeah. So it's on my to-do list to get more familiar with Zoom and now Skype.
Well,
So I
I prefer things that are free. In all honesty, so Zoom is gonna have to wait, I'm afraid, until I start making that capital, that bank. Then maybe I can afford it. But I make
think,
use of. I've been using these things for years. Skype, Hangouts. This is how me and my co-host in America kind of communicate and talk and record every
yeah.
week. But now everybody's getting used to it. It's really good. Thank you for joining me
Cool.
on the Shrewsbury Biscuit. I mean, do you want to give everybody sort of introduction to who you are, and then we'll talk about a little bit about what you're doing at the moment, which is why it caught my eye.
Sure, sure. So I'm Cat Merrick, and I run Breathe Dance and Yoga, which is my kind of company. It started off as a dance company, but is growing more. At the moment, it's pretty much yoga,
Yeah,
and the dance side of it is more artistic for me at the moment. Before we were on lockdown, I joined with a poet and a musician where we were collaborating and just creating some art. So there'll be the dance will evolve again, but for the time being, my focus is on yoga.
yeah.
Uh,
It's. I think during this time, anything you can do to sort of get a break from the news or the four walls that are surrounding you, is a welcome thing for everybody. And yoga that's the perfect thing for it, I guess, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Yoga really allows you to come away from your mind, come away from your thoughts. We, as a society, we tend to believe everything we think, and actually, our thoughts trick us sometimes. And so, when we get more into the body and allow our breath and our body just to work as one and come into tune with that, we can come to a little state of calm where we're not engrossed with all these thoughts that are flying around our minds. And that's for good and bad. I mean, when we're excited, our minds can still be as active as when we're worried. So having time away from that just gives us a little bit of space, so that when we do make decisions or choices about what we're doing going forward, they come from a place of calm and not as a reaction to whatever
More,
is in
more,
front.
more rational way of dealing with things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because if we're dealing straight out of emotional responses to what's going on, that comes from the amygdala, where the fight or flight response is, and our emotions. So all those emotions that come up, they're totally valid. But if we react instantly to them and react from that place of fear, then we don't always have the best outcome. But then by taking our breath and moving through the body, getting rid of the cortisol that we might be releasing through that kind of sense of the unknown and stress, we activate the parts of the brain where that reasoning and the rational thinking is more present. So the decisions that then come after we use yoga come from that place where it's thought out and it's got a meaning to us rather than a
So,
reaction.
am I wrong in saying yoga's a really old concept, isn't it? Like um, you know, focusing all your, like you said, on your breaths and your thoughts and calming your body down. Is that like a really old process, or is it something new? Do you know?
It's thousands of years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it was it's a form of exercise. Some would also say art and expression, from that kind of has its roots in India, but it can be also traced back to I think Tibet. So I'd have to kind of go back to all my notes
Yeah,
on that.
yeah.
But yeah, thousands of years old. And then it was brought over to the West. But it has a real, when we are more present in the body, we can have a perception of what's going on. So if we have pain or if we're feeling uncomfortable, we can kind of sit with that and almost kind of use our body's intelligence to work out where that might be coming from. And when I guess as well in society, we try and escape our bodies or change them, or we don't like this about them. And actually, when you kind of, we borrow these bodies, really. It's our soul and our, the who we are as human beings that's the most important. And actually, when we come back to that, and then we use our bodies as a vessel, and we connect into it, we create a better sense of harmony for ourselves, and then we give that out as well. We begin to give that sense of peace and calm out to others. So it allows us to move away from judgment as well.
Oh yeah, that's a really important thing, I believe, in today's world. There's a lot of pressure out there for everybody. Everybody's running around doing. I mean, not so much anymore, but at the moment. But everybody's kind of running around doing their thing, and everybody's got to get from A to B as quick as possible. Whether it's the rat race, whether you're going to school, whether it's you're a salesperson, or whatever you're doing, there's that goal, isn't there? And you've got to get there.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it probably pays to sort of slow down and just kind of take your time doing things and think things through first.
Definitely. And I think what this current situation is showing us is that there's nothing more important than this present time that we have with our families, perhaps, and knowing that other things can be taken away. They're not crucial to our everyday life. So when you are sat kind of with yourself, there's a little sense of needing to make peace with maybe our thoughts and things that we maybe dislike about ourselves, coming to a point where we can be accepting and find a sense of growth with that, so that when all those other things that are maybe these big distractions and we're putting all this effort in, when they're not there, we still can be happy in the moments that we have that aren't full of chaos. Or
it's putting things into perspective. Yeah, I would totally agree. With everything that's going on at the moment, I think people have realised kind of what liberties have been taken from them, those freedoms and those things that the normal interaction with people. Shane Chebsey, who is starting a brand new show with me tonight, we're recording remotely. He had to come and pick up a microphone from me, and it was on a little stand, and I kind of held it away from myself, and he was like, and he grabbed it off me. He was like, and then we stood like feet away having this small conversation. But things like that, and like shaking people's hands and going out to the park, and all those things that people aren't being able to do now. But there hasn't necessarily been an ultimately negative reaction to that. I mean, did you go outside last night at 8:00? Did you see all the people clapping for the NHS?
We're quite remote where we are, so
I
didn't see any. We gave a little clap, but we couldn't hear anyone else because we're at the end of a long lane. So we But I watched your YouTube where everybody YouTube,
the Facebook
video on Facebook, and listened to them. They were great, absolutely amazing.
And that was throughout the whole country. And that is a moment where people sort of stop and sort of think about what's important. And what's important is like these heroes that are in the epicenter of where all this is now. Everybody that's got this now is as vulnerable, is getting rushed to hospital. And that's where is the most infected at those wards, and that's where the nurses are at the moment. And you think about that, and you can't really complain about being sat in your apartment or your house, or not being able to go to the pub with your mates and play darts. You know what I mean? Like, there's bigger things to worry about, and that's
I think definitely.
Yeah.
To have that sense of compassion as well for the people who are putting themselves at the front of it is really important. And if we're complaining about needing to stay home, we do need to allow a bit of perspective to come into play, because I think slightly kind of different angle, but my I didn't get to see my granddad last Friday, and he turned 100,
Oh
and
no.
he was in World War Two, and he had, he was involved in D-Day, and when you kind of think, well, that was somebody who really had to put everything on the line, and then we just need to stay at home. It's a pretty easy option, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, the memes have been great, I gotta say, because you have got that comparison of what did you do to save the world, and you got the pictures of people storming D-Day and doing these heroic
Yeah,
things, and then it's like in comparison, what did you do to save the world? And there's a picture of a fat guy sat on a sofa eating chips, watching TV. Like,
yeah,
it's not hard, like you said.
yeah.
I mean, I did have
No,
a dig at someone on Facebook who was like, "Oh, but what about all the supermarket workers? We're not getting claps and stuff." And I was like, "But you're not saving people's lives. I mean, I'm a key worker. I'm going out to work, but I do not consider myself to be on the same scale as the people in the hospital saving people's lives right now. It's just one of those things we have to do. We have to go out and make.
yeah.
So yeah, it was a beautiful thing to see. So anybody that this is going out Monday. It's Monday today, guys. How's it going? Hope you had a great weekend. Congratulations to everybody that went out and showed a bit of support. It was honestly, I was close to tears. It was so moving. It was so beautiful to
Yeah.
see. Being able to explain to my little boy why we're doing this. It teaches him that this is people caring. This is what people do when they care.
Yeah, definitely. And I think for us here as well as a family, it's just a chance to really connect with each other and find out a little bit more about what makes each other tick, and spend time just being together. Sometimes maybe in boredom, like we don't always have to be entertained, and
Exactly.
just these little random chats that kind of go off on a tangent. These are all really interesting things, and if we turn that focus inwards into our homes and families, we might find a different level of appreciation for them, and we might start to create better habits. It's a chance for us to recognize habits that we have that maybe we aren't benefiting from,
Hmm.
and habits that we can create that we are totally in control of, that actually allow us to thrive a little bit better.
I read.
But there's got to be an awareness that comes into that. If you kind of, I think that's how yoga can allow you to make those decisions, because it drives you to be aware of what you are doing. Maybe it make you aware of your thoughts and of your actions. So when you look at it from an observance point of view, you can go, oh, okay, that's something I do all the time. I didn't realize that, and actually it's not helpful. So you can make informed decisions again. So
Yeah,
it's
I mean, to carry on with that, I mean, like, I read somewhere that a lot of people that suffer from anxiety, depression, mental health issues, where they're struggling to go outside or they're struggling to be on their own. Being on their own example is the best example. Is that the people are learning to sort of cope a bit better because they're kind of on their own. A lot of people are
yeah,
on their own. Other than mental health workers calling in via the phone or what have you. So learning to cope on their own is like a big byproduct of what's going on now. I can't speak for everybody, of course, but
no,
this is what I've read. I'm not.
yeah,
But the problem is going to be when everybody's like, "Okay, you can leave now." And then the people with anxiety are like, hold on, I've just got used to this. Like, it's going to be really hard for people. So is there something, you work with dealing with these sort of issues? Is there something that you can sort of suggest to someone as a way to wean themselves out of the situation rather than rushing out into the big bad world?
um, yeah. I think when you become used to something, you kind of find these little foundations of habits that you put into place. So if people are then kind of ready to go back out, they might just need to have a think about what that first interaction is going to be. And if they wanted to start a yoga practice, doing that in the meantime will help activate the vagus nerve, which allows for the body's kind of calming response to come into play. So it's anti-anxiety will, it's by stimulating the vagus nerve that will help with anxiety. Maybe not, it's not going to have a dramatic impact straight away, but over time it reduces cortisol levels in the body. So if there's a chance for a practice to start being built, this is the time to do it. And then by the time it comes back around to going out again, you can, you can come from a place of choice where you're deciding on what those interactions are going to be, and maybe have a plan. I mean, a lot of it, I don't always have a plan, but when I plan things out as to what I'm going to do, it always has a better outcome than when I'm just kind of.
It does help.
Off.
It really does help.
And potentially, if you are on your own, it's using technology like this to stay connected. So you can strengthen the bonds of friendship or through family relationships, and then perhaps it's going to see those people first of all.
Yeah.
So, I'm not an expert on this part, but be, a sense of where I would suggest would be the first steps. But it would also depend on the individual and where that anxiety stems from.
Exactly, yeah. And this is the point, is that we don't speak for everybody. We just speak for some that might take a bit of a bit of advice. Let's talk about what you've been doing. So, as a day-to-day normally before the COVID-19 kicked in, what were you doing then? Were you concentrating on dance and yoga? Was that like what you did for a living?
Yeah, I mean, I'm an ex-secondary school teacher. I left teaching last summer, so I taught up until July. And during my time there, I'd also already started teaching yoga, and the dance work that I was doing was at the school. So it started as Breathe Dance Company, and so that's when I changed into Breathe Dance and Yoga. So over the last few years, I've been teaching in a school. Teaching yoga in schools as well. I've been to various secondary schools and primary school. And primary schools as well. And then I've been teaching at local studios and gyms as well. So Yogalicious Studio in town, Love to Live, Shrewsbury Club, and then hiring out a local venue for my own classes. So that would be like a normal week. And I have another business as well, which would have taken up some time, but that's had to go completely on hold at this point. So that's I'd have weekly classes that I'd go and do, but I was planning, I guess it's thrown it right, like made me really have to speed up the process, but I was launching some online programs maybe around May or June time. So
yeah. And fate was like, go
move quicker and kind of throw myself into those areas where I'm not so comfortable, getting out of my comfort zone. But it's all going to be a process anyway. So,
well, I loved what you were doing. So, despite what's happened, the fact that I saw you guys on Facebook and what you were doing, I'm loving all this. I'm seeing people that are using these initiatives, they're catching my eye, and I just want to speak to people about it because it is a big step. You are right. We've just spent. Yesterday I spent about 20 minutes trying to work out Skype with my laptop. This is on my tablet right now because I still can't work that thing out. There are aspects to this that people don't understand. It's really hard. I've been doing this for like 3-4 years and I'm still learning. So to take that thing there that's not quite familiar, and then to use it to show people what you can do. This is the stage. This is what you want people to see. Is quite difficult. So well done. Seriously, because it's a big ordeal. I mean, not everybody is as confident as Joe doing PE on YouTube. Not everybody's. But you did a great job. And what was the response like then? Because to put things into perspective, so Cat did a Facebook Live yoga session for kids. What the age group for kids? Are small.
Pardon?
What was the age group for the first session? The kids?
I would say, my daughter's 8, and I would say it was kind of from 5 to 9 years old because we use stories, and And when you get to like upper key stage 2, it's they're not wanting these stories quite as much. So or shall I rephrase that? For anyone who enjoys stories, then that was the age group.
I liked the. I actually took a lot from that because I started doing it with Timmy. We sat on the rug and did it, and you had that ball that you were pulling out to show people how to breathe. That was really helpful because when people say breathe in, I'm usually like, how long do and then when you showed me how to breathe out by collapsing the ball again, I was like, oh right, that's how that works, and it was actually really beneficial. So I took a lot from that, so thank you.
Good. Yeah, those props are brilliant because you're not just kind of taking a big breath in, you're letting it sip kind of in slowly. So that's that constant flow of breath.
And as someone that's never really done yoga, I mean, I started because I'm losing weight now because I'm doing the keto. I keep slipping, but I am still losing weight. I want to start looking for healthy output, and I do want to start doing yoga. I think yoga's great. There was that great story about the guy that had like 2 years to live or something. They said he was in a really bad place. His health was really dire, and he started doing the DDP yoga. And his story is amazing because he was hugely overweight. And then now he's this super fit yoga guy that can like stand on his hands and do all these crazy, amazing stories. I just wanted to try something new, But going up to someone like yourself who's an expert and going, how and you're like, so how much experience have you had? Do we need to go to the beginners class? And I'm like, I'd probably tell you I need to go to the pre-beginners class, So these online sessions that you're doing is actually really good for even adults just to step in and learn.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the difficulty is knowing exactly how much people want when you're doing it online. I mean, in terms of when I was thinking about launching a program, I had a specific clientele in mind, but perhaps now that's expanded because there's so many more people now who are going, I just need some yoga. So the Facebook group that I've created is now like a range. It's got I did some kids yoga. I also did a teen yoga class as well.
Yeah. How did that go?
And then I've got just I guess what I would call my regular teaching class, which is a mixture. I adapt certain postures for all levels, and kind of beginner to intermediate, and that can challenge strength. It can challenge balance. It can develop strength and power. So there's a whole. It's finding out now the people that are coming to that Facebook page exactly what they need. But yes, I think from a beginner's point of view, I can offer some more tutorials which would allow you to feel more comfortable and access some of the postures. And a lot of beginners say it's the breathing that is the hardest because you actually, now you're bringing your awareness to it. You're like, oh, I don't even know if this is right or not. But
it does mean it's a very technical thing. I mean, when I used to go running, I used to really struggle, and I used to get like stitch and and so he's like, well, how are you breathing? And I'm just like, like you do, and it's like, no, man, slow that down. Yeah. I nearly swore then. Slow it down, like that's what you're supposed to do. How did the teenage class go? Did you get a lot of feedback on that?
There was a few viewers, and lots of kind of hearts on there, but I don't know. I don't know if we had any actual teenagers on there watching it. I don't know if it's the right time. It was 6:00. So again, it's asking for I'm asking for feedback on that. So we'll see. It could be that there's because at the same time as me going live in my group, I was going live in a group called Lockdown Life, which is run by somebody in Telford.
Oh, cool.
So they've got a lot of members in there. So if that gets to those parents with teenagers or to their teenagers, it might take a few days for them to kind of try it out, and if it is of value to people and there is an audience for it, then I'll definitely do more. So I'm still at that point where I'm testing things out, and depending on who my audience is, who's my community, then I'll give to them what they need.
Yeah.
And I guess we're still in that early stage where I'm figuring that out and listening to what people are saying.
And I guess like if this helps you as well anyway, because you're a guy, you're kind of like busy all the time, in a normal day to day, teaching yoga, going to place. I bet since this has happened, you kind of sat there like, I need to teach. Someone that's always, tends to be busy doing something that they enjoy. You've had that taken away from you. It must be really hard,
Yeah, and actually, teaching yoga is a really big thing for me. It helps me to feel grounded and present. And when at the end of a yoga class, when I see all these smiling faces and letting me know which parts they enjoyed and what they got from it is really satisfying. It gives me so much job satisfaction, and it's really powerful. I think it can instill so much positive change in people that. If I just kind of went from teaching every week to nothing, that was really hard. So it was important for me that I was able to still deliver that for people, and help them still feel that sense of calm and connection to themselves.
Yeah, we need to try and find a way. I mean, like I'm thinking about like ways to kind of keep you going, because you're offering a service that it shouldn't be for free or whatever, So I'm thinking maybe have you heard of Patreon?
I've heard of it, but I've not done anything more than it's a little. I've heard the word.
Patreon, if you can get someone to help you, you can do. It's not just for podcasters. It's for music artists. It's for people that do things visual as well. And basically, what you can do is you can charge people a small subscription to kind of join you on your Patreon feed. People pay you, you give them the code, they come in. And so what people will be doing is getting like a yoga class from you, but helping you keep the lights on as well at the same time. So
I know that is the tricky thing. I think for me at the moment, it was setting up that community so that those people who really were struggling and had their income taken away, that was there. And I mean, I will at some point put a PayPal link on for donations, I think. But I just wanted to get started, I think, test it out, see if it was. It's very different being in front of a class and being able to assess their energy and respond to them. I mean, I plan my classes, but a lot of the time I can switch halfway through the class.
You did say that during the class as well, didn't you? You said you can't check on people's form.
Sorry?
So you said that during the class, didn't you? That you can't check on people's form, and so to be careful because there isn't a teacher there watching you. It must be difficult. Yeah.
And a lot of my class is very alignment based. I'm interested in form and function of the body, so that if you work well with the body, you can actually correct any imbalances or work in a more efficient way. So not to be able to watch somebody and give those corrections feels very different. And I'm I'm just teaching my class without also going off the energy. Do we need to spend longer in this posture, or do we need to put more speed? So that's very different. So the first point was for me to see, can I teach online? Do I come across in the same way? And or I didn't know if I would be quite wooden, and whether that my personality would come through, and then if people still want to practice with me in that way. So that was the first stage for me. But yes, unfortunately I am leaving my teaching job last year. I am completely self-employed, so I do have to think about moving forwards. But I'm not at that kind of crunch point yet. However, it is something I need to think about. But I still want to be able to offer yoga to people who need it and who are in a similar situation. They don't have an income. And
well, this is where
in the long term they might become my clients further down the line. So
that's it. You're getting that exposure, and that's brilliant. You know, people are finding out about you. I found out about you because of this. I mean, I added you on Facebook because of what you do anyway. Mainly, really, because selfishly, I was like, yoga, you know?
Yeah.
But then when I saw you doing the Facebook Live, I was kind of like, wow, this is great. And I was right,
Yeah,
because at the forefront of your mind wasn't, I need to keep going and this is a business, whatever. It was community and you wanted to help people. And I really love
definitely.
that. It's such an attractive thing about, you know, with all this that's going on right now, people are showing their true colors in both good ways and bad ways, I believe.
Absolutely. Definitely.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah, it does. It makes you, I guess it makes you lean into the qualities that you are more naturally, um, you more naturally project. So
yeah.
again, for some people, it might be in a negative way, but perhaps it also gives them an opportunity to recognise that,
And learn.
and then again, they can make positive change in their lives. So maybe this situation allows us just to recognise
And you know
the
what?
qualities in ourselves.
I'm lucky enough when I can go out. Sometimes I'll go out and have a coffee outside, just like they're my moments to just go and get some fresh air. I think we were allowed to do that, aren't we? Allowed to go in the garden and stuff. But like you look out
Yeah,
onto the streets and things, the streets are so clean, and there's nobody about, and it's nice. And, you know, you see people walking their dogs and things, and that's it. You know, it's beautiful. What I was going to say was about this situation about learning to adapt and things like that. You know, when this first happened, I struggled with it for a couple of days, because I was kind of like, we cover events and people that are doing
yeah,
things and nobody's doing anything. What am I going to do with a biscuit? What am I supposed to do? And it took me a couple of days just to sit and think about how are we going to carry on as a show when we're not covering whatever's going on at certain times, or somebody's business that's not even open
yeah.
anymore, you know, at the moment. So speaking to people like yourselves, and you know, is a great thing for me as well, because I get to carry on with the show. I get to illustrate somebody that's doing a great thing, and also give you a bit of exposure, which you absolutely deserve, because you did
Oh,
a great
thank
thing.
you.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
what's the plan moving forward then? Have you got many more Facebook Live shows planned for the next couple of weeks or so?
yeah. I'm trying to. I've still got lots of admin work to get through, and with my other business as well, I've got to kind of put things in place for that. So this weekend is going to be a bit more admin based, but then I'm hoping to put out a timetable then next week where I will have regular live slots within the group. And options for Zoom, hopefully, in terms of group classes where I can then see people,
Nice.
and those would definitely then be donation or paid, and and there's an offer of one-to-ones there as well. If people are now wanting to get a solid yoga practice but they don't know where to start, then with a Zoom call, again, it's not going to be as well, for a start, I can't do any kind of hands-on adjustments to kind of help you feel into the position, but I can obviously give clear instructions and look at their form to enable them to access
Brilliant.
it better. So there'll be, I'll have some slots where I can do that, and yeah, we'll and I'll still kind of keep creating my online course. So that might launch. Whether it'll still be the same course that I was planning now, we will see. We'll see what happens with that. But you're right. I think as humans, we're actually really adaptable and resilient. So that's where I'm at now. I'm trying to kind of adapt and find ways that I can still teach what I love, and as well just enjoy being with my family. I mean, I have two children. I've got Lila, who joined me on the live Facebook yoga feed. She's 8, and I've got my son who's 11. So he would have been in he is in year 6. So he's making, he's going to be going to secondary school. So we're trying to do I'm not necessarily calling it homeschooling, because I believe that homeschooling isn't like this at all. It'll be isolation schooling.
Yeah.
So that's part of my day now as well. So it's finding a new balance. So if one thing that is clear, that life is shifting and changing, and when we think we've got that sense of equilibrium, there's always something to tip it. So
Oh, you said the magic word.
if you can stay solid and connected with yourself and with your attitudes and beliefs, and know that there's always things that are out of your control, but you can control your reactions and your emotion. You let me rephrase that. You can't. Emotions are naturally going to come through. What we can change is our response to them.
Yeah.
Whether we kind of sit with them and allow them to direct us towards what that might be stemming from, and then rather than kind of a reaction straight away. So yeah, it's a challenging time, but when you come straight back to yourself, you find you can adapt. We're resilient creatures. We can do it.
Equilibrium is one of my favorite words in the world, because that's how I like things. Is I like things to be like just the same. I love routine and things like that. And at the moment, like this current situation, I mean, listeners of the show will know that I'm kind of homeless right now. I'm kind of staying at my mother-in-law's. We're in between properties, and they're taking the time getting our property ready for us. As a delay, so we were kind of like homeless during this pandemic thing, and of course you're going to be like, oh, yeah, you don't know what's going on, but actually I've adapted, and I'm kind of like, it's fine. We've got a roof over our heads, we're fine, it's absolutely fine. So yeah, everybody's learning a lot now, and I hope that we don't spring back into our old ways, because I've just got this image of, as soon as they're like, right, lockdown's over, everybody's back to Gran Canaria, everybody's rushing around, back in the pubs, causing trouble. I just imagine it being like a coiled spring, I just hope that isn't the case.
And I think it will, because when you have, whatever habits you have, they're quite hard to break. So even when you recognise that you've got a bad habit, and it's like little cycles. You kind of go through this process of putting better habits in, and then all of a sudden you find yourself slinking back to what you were doing before, and then you catch yourself, and then you kind of go back. So yeah, there will be a sense of everybody kind of rushing back out to what they went to do before. However, I hope, and I think that a lot of people then go, oh, hang on, this doesn't feel quite the same, because I've changed slightly and I think a little bit differently now. So what they thought was fulfilling a need before might actually not fulfill that need, because it's not there anymore. They've got different ways of thinking. So that, it might be quite, I guess it could also be quite difficult in that sense, that what used to be normal for them before won't feel as normal again.
Especially if you're an extrovert who's just suddenly learned how to live as an introvert, and you're like, actually, this isn't too bad,
Yeah, definitely.
The social aspect of things, I think it's like an experiment. It's a huge worldwide social experiment. That's what this has felt like.
Yeah, definitely.
Seeing people stood on their doorsteps last night clapping, I was like, wow, this is the biggest, air quotations, crowd I've been in for the last 2 weeks. It's kind of weird. But I think there's a lot of positives to take from what's going on at the moment, and we're learning things every day. Like, this is going out on a Monday, we're recording on a Friday. Between Friday and Monday, there could be something new. I think I've just heard that Boris has got the coronavirus now, apparently.
Yeah, I heard that as well. I mean, it's not taking any prisoners, is it? It's,
absolutely not, no.
It's a real thing, so...
Who knows what the weekend will bring? Maybe this will be coming up Monday, and things may have got better or got worse. I don't know, but hey, this is what we're doing, and you're adapting and you're offering solutions to people that are having to make changes, and I really like that. I really like what you're doing. Can you just tell people sort of like where to find you, and where to sort of sign up to your classes and find out more information about you?
Yeah, definitely. So, my company name is Breathe, Dance and Yoga, and that's breathe with an E on the end. And it's my Instagram handle and Facebook handle are the same. So it's at Breathe, Dance and Yoga, all spelt, so the and is A-N-D. It's not a symbol. And if you type that into Instagram and Facebook, then you should come up. I guess I could send you a link as well.
Absolutely. Send me a link of anything you want to do online. Send me the link and we will put it on our group and we'll get people to come to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Be amazing.
Yeah, and then if any messages can go through there as well. That's the best way at the moment. I am again in the process of building a website. That kind of took a little backseat whilst I got kind of. I mean, it's taken ages to get set up to go live, like getting the iPhone at the right angle and then the iPad, and do I use a microphone? Do I not? So it's getting used to all that. So there's some things that are needed as part of my business that are slightly on the back burner, but it'll all come back round again. So Instagram
Absolutely.
and Facebook are the main places at the moment for me.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic! And I feel you on that one. I mean, I've just finished. I've just closed the podcast. It's dead now. I've killed it, and we're starting something brand new. And actually, the first fully live episode we did was the last one we did for that show because it took so long to work it out. I'm useless at this sort of stuff. I need to help as much as anyone else. Okay, I've just got a bit of news. We can chat about this before we've signed this off. My Shrewsbury shared a news story today. Obviously, this is going out on the Friday. A lot can change. But Shropshire Council is to deploy its park and ride buses and drivers to provide a free transport between Shrewsbury and Telford hospitals for hospital staff, which I think is really good.
Yeah.
So that's something I wanted to share because, how do you get to and from the hospitals if you can't get on? Yeah. It's nice that, people are looking after the people that are looking after us. I think that's really good. Really, really good.
Yeah.
What else is next? I just sent loads of links to my WhatsApp. The market hall is still open for business. I think the Parade Shopping Centre, our home, they're closed for the time being. But of course, at the market hall, they sell a lot of fresh produce and food for essential items. So if you need some fresh produce and you need some cheese and meat and things like that, you can still go into the market hall in town. So make sure you remember that because we're running out of places where we can. And you know what? You make use of your corner shops and things. Don't just rush to Asda and Tesco. Use local businesses and things to keep them going. I think it's really important. I mean, I released on today, which is the Friday, I released a crumb of an interview I did at Condover Furniture. Now, of course, their business isn't going to be, ransacked with people inside the shops because it's probably closed. But if you give them a follow, like yourself, with the yoga classes and things, if people give you a follow and show an interest now, later on when things open up again, you've got that as a go-to.
Yeah, definitely. It's having that support. It's knowing that support is out there as well. That even if you can't have somebody come into your shop or support your business straight away, if you have that support through comments and through social media, you've almost got an instinct that they will become a customer further down the line. So I think if people can't support businesses by shopping there or going to them, then I think that is a really helpful thing that you can share or support through likes and comments. And sharing it with other people that might actually be in a situation where they can still pay for certain things, and sharing that on.
Yeah, I'd saw someone mentioning gift cards. Gift cards are a great idea, or IOUs, things like that. So like with Gin Different, who are our sponsor, by the way. Well, that's a perfect segue. Well done, Alex Whiteley. Thank you very much. Gin Different, who are our sponsors, they've had to close up their store, but if there are gins and things that you would like Darren to get in, drop them a message, give them a follow on Facebook and be like, there's a craft gin from Belgium I can't get hold of. Can you get hold of it? Blah, 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 blah. Darren would be like, yes, I can get hold of that for you. Probably sort you out some sort of delivery. I don't know. It's all about communication, and you don't know who to communicate with if you don't follow them. So give Gin Different a follow. They are our sponsors. They're amazing, and we love them very much. But yeah, this has been amazing, and I really do appreciate you for what you're doing at the moment. Just showing people that they can get out there and do things. Well, not get out there. They can follow you, do things in the house without going out. That's the point I was trying to make, in a weird way. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Thank you for joining me on the Shrewsbury Biscuit. It's been really nice, Kat. I've really enjoyed chatting to you.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for the invite. It was really, really nice to chat with you.
You did a great thing, and I liked it. And I'm going to come and join you for yoga at some point because I need to do something with this body of mine because I'm losing all this weight and Yeah. It's not-
All the lives that I've done on Facebook. So it's inside. So on the page is Breathe, Dance and Yoga, but then the actual lives are happening within the Facebook group that's part of the page. So all the lives that I do then get saved, and I kind of save them as units. So there's a unit on breath. So maybe go to that one and have a look, and then you'll feel more confident with how you breathe.
And actually, do you know what? I think the breath is the most important thing, because that whole thing of count to 10, you know, when someone's really annoyed, count to 10, count, you know, it's a very, that's in essence, that's like breathe. Just breathe. It's fine.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really important lesson. So yeah, absolutely. Facebook Lives get saved on Facebook, so go and check them out. You can still do them. It doesn't have to be live, you know. So the one that I did yesterday, go and find it. Go and do it with your kids. It's great. It's fantastic, you know. Thank you very much for joining me. Guys, make sure you check out our website, which is www.theshrewsburybiscuitpodcast.co.uk. You can listen to our audio directly from our website, and it's lovingly made by our friends at Web Orchard. Make great websites there. And yeah, Cat, you've been amazing. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Thank
It's
you.
been great to chat to you.
Thank you.
All right.
Guys, peace out. Catch you next time.